All right, welcome back to this series where we're talking about subfloor replacement, the dreaded subfloor replacement in our 2007 19-foot Airstream Safari SE. I hope the series is not going to be too long, but at this point, it looks like it's going to be a really long series. This video is brought to you by iFixify. iFixify is a small Oregon family business. We make how-to videos and hard-to-find parts for Dometic refrigerator freezers, travel trailers, and more. Visit us at ifixify.co. Fix it once with iFixify. Okay, if you've followed me this far, you know that a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, and if I'm honest, probably a bit longer than that because of denial, I found that the subfloor in my Airstream travel trailer was warped and cracking under my feet. And that led to this misadventure. In my previous video, I talked about how I ended up pulling up the vinyl flooring to figure out how much of the floor was damaged, and we're still in that part of the process because the damage extends not only in this area covered by a dog, but it extends under this cabinetry right here, and it extended under the kitchen cabinetry. And that was my first stopping point because in my 2007 Airstream Safari SE 19-foot, I looked for videos on how to remove Airstream cabinetry and I couldn't find any. So I'm going to let you know what I did here. And this is one of the more complicated areas of an Airstream travel trailer because it involves plumbing as well as some electrical circuitry, as well as, right, the furnace sits here. The gas lines for the range and the oven are right here. And you've got not only freshwater plumbing, cold and hot supply lines, but you've got drain lines and, of course, gas lines coming in. So you've got gas, electric, heat, wastewater, freshwater, and it all centralizes on this place right here. So the first thing I did was I started to disconnect things that I saw because I knew that this cabinetry would have to come out. The water, fresh water, and the plumbing line to the kitchen sink were pretty easy, just a matter of untwisting them and getting them out of the way. The gas lines also were a matter of disconnecting them from the range as well as from the furnace, which is down there. And then the process was to, I don't think to make sure that things weren't going around the electrical. In the process of removing the cabinetry, though, I did find a really interesting thing that I'd never noticed before, which is that there is I think that's a 15 amp, 120 volt circuit back there, which could be really useful if you wanted to use that. So the process of removing the cabinetry did not only include disconnecting every supply and waste line that you see here. It also involved removing some screws that were not that well disguised inside the cabinetry. It involved sort of cutting along this caulk line along this side. And then the mechanism for attaching the cabinetry to the trailer was through this flange here and some screws that were, you can see a screw hole right there. So it involved removing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws up here. And then in the floor here, under a kick plate, were 2 very long screws holding the front of the cabinetry in. And that's all that there was in that process. So that's the process of removing the kitchen and cabinetry. As I pointed out in my previous video, the floor damage unfortunately extends under this upright cabinet here, which unfortunately includes the electrical panel as well as the AC to DC converter, I think. So this panel, this cabinet will have to be removed next. And the next part of the process is removing the cabinetry that contains the refrigerator, because as you can see, the damage also seems to extend under the refrigerator. As far as removing other cabinetry, and I will show that when we get there, this is the dinette area. I think that side is going to be very easy to remove because there's not really much going on there. This side is going to be a little more difficult because that's where the water tank is, as well as the water pump, as well as some electrical things. But this, in fact, may need to be removed as well because, unfortunately, the floor also bows right about here. So we are still scoping out this problem, but in this video we talked about how you can remove the cabinetry, the kitchen cabinetry, in this type of Airstream trailer, which is a 2007 Safari SE 19-foot. Thanks for watching. Give me a like and a follow. Drop a comment below if you have any helpful comments. And join us for our next video. You've been watching Every Airstream Owner's Worst Nightmare. Stay tuned for more episodes. This video has been brought to you by iFixify. iFixify is a small Oregon family business. We make how-to videos like these, and we make hard-to-find replacement parts for Dometic refrigerator freezers, travel trailers, and more. Thanks for watching.